is like a treasure map. We can always spot where our seals are within the water. All we do is follow them little dots. So it does come in handy. There you go.
This is the
Now you
first
can only do
time.
that on fur seals. You can't follow the dots on sea lions because they only have one layer. So our girls are much better because they're much fluffier. Now, if you get confused whether they are sea lions or seals, don't blame you because they do look very similar fur seals to sea lions, and that is because they are from the same family group, and that is called the Indian seals. So if you have a look on either side of Flo's head there, we'll point them out because they are teeny tiny. She's got these two fleshy earlobes, very similar to ours. The only difference is those are webbed together. They're rolled. They're not webbed, they're hip flippers. Her ears are rolled, and that stops any water going through her ear anytime she obviously swims through the water. She's jumping, basically just messing around in that water. Just stops that cold influx of water through her ear. The next thing is them enormous front flippers that are webbed together. Should we show them off? Ta-da! There we go. Oh. Now these front flippers, she's still growing. Flo is only 4, so she's still got about 3 to 4 years left of growing. And when she does, her flippers will be even bigger than they are now. But as you can see, they do come in handy for lunges jumps, some of her favourites, splashing our trainer as well. They're very cheeky seals that we have. But yeah, they come in handy for jumps, splashing, and just all over swimming behaviours. Now, the last characteristic is the way that they move across the dry land. Ear seals can actually tuck their back flippers underneath, and there we go. You can see she can twirl and whoosh. She can have a little bit of a movie, especially with the music in the background today. But having this rotatable back hip comes in handy because these girls are fantastic climbers. They can easily climb up onto the top of the rock there. There we go. Where she does like to have a good sunbathe, a good nosy. Hello. You are having a good nosy today, aren't we? Right, fabulous. And that's the same in the wild as well. You will often see eared seals out on the top of the rocks where they can literally have a nosy where everyone is. Decide whether they can have a little bit of a sunbathe in the sun and then take a dip back in the pool when they get too hot. Now, if you've not already, please do have a nosy at our other pool because we actually are lucky enough that we have another group of seals as well, and they are the harbour seals. Now they do look very different to our fur seals, and that is because they are from different groups. So Flo being an eared seal, our harbour seals are true seals. So true seals are any grey seals, elephant seals. Basically, if it looks like a seal, it's a true seal. Now the easiest way to tell the difference is true seals do not have that external ear flap. They've just got 2 small holes on either side of the head. True seals also swim using their back flippers through the water, which is the opposite to Flo. And then lastly, the way they move across the dry land. So Flo does a really good impression of a true seal. Should you show us it all? There we go. They've got a slide across on their bellies. Looking very similar to a bit of a big wet slug. Now the only issue is our girls do not do anything on half the speed. It's full speed always. So you've just got to picture Flo's impression but very much slowed down, and you get the harbour seals. Now, you don't often see them out and about on the beaches just because, as you can imagine, by sliding across on their bellies, it's not the fastest mode of transport at all. So they don't often come out and about as much. Now, even though these girls are obviously 2 different groups, they obviously both live in the waters, in the seas, the oceans, and obviously because they live in the water, they are always on the watch for predators. Now, we're gonna see if Flo would like to actually show you guys an impression of one of her predators today. Shall we give it a go? There we go. Now, all we ask is if you do recognise this predator, do not be afraid to shout it out nice and loud for everyone. There we go.
Another shark.
Don't think that was quite loud enough for Flo. We need to be louder for her.
Shark!
Oh, she's still a bit distracted. Go on. Try it one more time. A bit louder, guys.
Shark!
Ah, there we go. So, great white sharks and bull sharks would predate on our seals in the wild. Now, Flo knows what to do. She needs to get out of the water. And what do we do? We hide. There we go. We hide away because obviously she's a very small seal, especially when you think about a big, great shark. So she does need to hide away as quick as she can out on the dry land, where she's obviously a lot faster than her predator. Now, if she can't do that, if she is out of the wild, no land in sight, what she's going to do instead is actually be faster than her predator. Now, she could do this by porpoising. So small jumps in and out of the water, there we go.
A dolphin!
And this means that Flo here can quickly get to her top speed and hopefully outswim her predator. There we go, nice and easy. Now, again, if that does not work, all she needs to do instead is her favourite thing in the world, and that is backflips. There we go. Because as you can see, all that water spray and splash should be enough to confuse her predator, because sharks have awful eyesight, so when a seal splashes in front of them, it should be enough to confuse them, and it gives Flo that extra chance to obviously get somewhere nice and safe out on the dry land. There we go. Now, sadly, it's not just predators that our seals do have to be on the watch for when they're out in the water. They do sadly have to be on the watch each and every day for plastic and rubbish. Now, that is because if rubbish isn't put in the bin, correctly disposed of, it can obviously flow into our pools, but also the sea, which is just over the wall. And our seals are very playful. You've ruined the pun. Well, there we go. So it's very playful. They'll go up to these pieces of plastic thinking it's a toy, thinking it's food as well. And a lot of the time can end up quite seriously harmed and injured from these rubbish. Now, obviously, we don't want Flo to feeling extra rubbish. No, we don't. There we go. She's feeling terrible today. Now, luckily, she's just very dramatic. She is one of our most dramatic seals here. She's feeling much better, obviously, now that she's had a few extra snacks as well. Now, obviously, out in the wild, they don't always get that helping hand. So what we like to ask each and every one of you here is just to help us out with this by reducing the amount of single-use plastic that you do use, recycling as much as you can do, or finding alternative uses to the plastic bottles or the wrappers, anything like that. And a real simple thing that you can do every single day is just making sure rubbish does go in the bin. Because otherwise, we have some very scratchy seals.
Aww.
So we've got some very determined seals that will give you a good telling off. So we're trying to say telling off today. Alright, here we are. She's obviously not doing her job today. She's obviously on strike for us. It's a hard life. There we go. Never mind. Now, before I finish up, I'll just tell you a little bit about the training. Because as you can see, Flo is a very cheeky seal. She's absolutely fantastic. But if she does not want to do something, she will not do it. We could be asking them for hours, they still will not do it. And that is just because they are obviously wild animals at the end of the day, they still have their own mind, but also because they're just very cheeky. They only really want to do the training if it is on the